Shri Shri Ras Viharini Ju Ki Jai. Shri Vraja Kishori Seva Trust reading Shri Hariraji Bade Shiksha Patr. Today is day 53, letter 20, which has 19 verses, and it's about good association and bad association. Translator's introduction. This 20th letter addresses several issues crucial to a Vaishnava's attitude in life, difficulties that present themselves and the solutions to these according to Sri Vallabhacharyaji's teachings. Introduction. In this 20th letter you will read how not to worry about the impurities you had before you took shelter in the Lord, how you should live with awareness after you have surrendered to Him, how you should ponder on your self-dedication, serve the Lord, and praise Him. Do not listen to the words of those with limited knowledge, which may turn you away from the path of grace. Note, those with limited knowledge refers to those who have studied a lot about the path of grace, but do not truly understand it. Neither do they have firm faith in it. Keep good company and have firm faith in Sri Vallabhacharyaji's teachings. Try to associate with accomplished devotees and never with those who oppose this path. Verse 1. I was delighted to receive your news. Know that Sri Hari willingly showers his grace upon even the impure soul. Tika 1. I felt very content to receive and read your letter because, despite the great sadness which accompanies the loss of a family member, you have now gone beyond such grief and you are yourself content. Now pay heed to the teachings which follow. Sri Hari is such a merciful Lord. Although he knows the impurities of an embodied soul, he still blesses them without judging them. Shishupal was such a rascal. All he ever did was criticize the Lord. However, the Lord still liberated him. Indra opposed the Lord and sent his rainstorms, but the Lord was pleased with him and blessed him. Sri Krishna is full of grace and likes to shower his blessings on the embodied souls. Therefore praise him, remember him, and surrender to him. Verse 2. When you are blessed by his grace, then there is nothing you cannot achieve. Do not worry about your formative impurities. Tika 2. The principle of this path of grace is that everything is perfected through the power of his grace alone, and not by the embodied soul's efforts. Just how much striving can an embodied soul do? And, even so, all the effort does not purify them. Do not therefore worry in vain. Sri Mahaprabhuji has taught, the embodied soul is impure by its very nature. It is impure but thinks itself superior due to ignorance, and thus fails in all its efforts. Know that everything is achieved through grace alone, and stop worrying. Verse 3. If you allow worldly criticism to make you sad, even after you are thoroughly absorbed in love for the Lord, it is like eating unwholesome and indigestible food after taking a beneficial medicine. So do not let it then even enter your mind. Tika, number 3. An example of how worldly worries can destroy your mood of love with the Lord is that of eating indigestible food, salty and bitter, even after availing yourself of lovely, curative, herbal medicines. The qualities of the medicine are destroyed when it is not properly digested, and then disease can be increased. If you have love for the Lord in your heart and mind, and remember and praise him, then this is like fine medicine. But when you give mind space to worldly worries, that causes indigestion, which can turn your loving mood upside down. This is why Sri Acharyaji teaches us in his Navaratna, the 9 jewels treatise. Those Vaishnavas who have a relationship with the Lord and are surrendered to him should never, ever worry. Once an embodied soul has surrendered to the Lord, they should definitely renounce all anxiety and never even think about the criticism of worldly people or be sad because of it. There are so many different types of worldly souls who would criticize and blame you if you don't tell them your secrets. You should simply tolerate this. In the Srimad Bhagavatam we learn that when the gopis left their worldly and scriptural obligations to worship the Lord, they were criticized by their husbands and parents. They did not pay heed to this, thus pleasing Sri Krishna, who then granted them the supreme reward of participation in his great circle dance. An accomplished devotee is thus able to tolerate any worldly criticism. Verse 4. Proceed with caution. Bad association is problematic and can destroy your mood of divine love in an instant. Tika 4. Always be cautious. Bad association is a tremendous obstacle. You may have accumulated such divine love over many births, but it can all be destroyed in just one moment by bad association. The Srimad Bhagavatam has described many instances of how great devotees have fallen down because of it. Therefore be careful and strenuously avoid it. Verse 5. When the impious insult you, regard it as a reason for contentment, because they criticize them cause you to become especially tolerant and patient. These deceptive beings do not like devotees, and a devotee finds no substance in the words of those who embrace false perception. Tika. If impious people, non-Vaishnavas, followers of other paths, and those who have turned their face away from the Lord insult you, do not be sad. Rather be content that they make you realize your faults. So you gain knowledge from tolerating this criticism. Saintly souls cannot bear to listen to the words of such rascals. Hiranyakashyap tortured Prahalad endlessly and criticized him, but Prahaladji patiently tolerated all of it and lost nothing thereby. The Lord slew Hiranyakashyap, therefore pay no heed to the words of the wicked. Verse 6. Those impious souls have absolutely no faith in this path and see only your previous impurities, so do not heed their words. The name of Sri Hari alone has the power to universally purify. Tika. I will now describe these rascals who have absolutely no faith in this path of grace and are fault-finding even from their previous births. The way of the path of grace is well known inasmuch as it pays no heed to previous impurities, but these rascals take shelter in this path and still find fault, never managing to abandon their cunning nature. They are demonic in character and have absolutely no faith in this path. They remain impure and manifest only impurities. However, the name of the Lord is such that, just by saying it once, it can dissolve all impurities. In the 6th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam it is recounted, if recited knowingly or unknowingly, the name of the Lord is so powerful that it can burn up a man's sin just as a fire burns wood. You can say his name in doubt, in jest, in song, or even in pure ignorance. The wise know that even then his name destroys all sin. O son, see the greatness of the Lord's name, by the recitation of which even a great sinner like Ajamil escaped the clutches of the god of retribution. In the 8th canto it is taught, Sri Shukracharyaji says to Sri Vamanji, holy prayers and practices in their place and time may be incomplete, but the chanting of your holy name fulfills them all. And, in this age of struggle, anyone who chants and makes others chant your holy name is most fortunate and fulfilled. In the 12th canto, Sri Shukdevji says, although this age of Kali is full of impurity, it has one great quality, and that is that the simple chanting of Sri Krishna's name alone can grant liberation. In the 6th canto, Lord Vishnu's messengers say, even one who may have killed a Brahmin, their father a cow, their mother their teacher qualified to conduct Vedic sacrifices, or their superior, who is a sinner, a person of unclean habits or family, can be purified by the Lord's name. Again and again we find numerous statements recounting the power of the holy name, and even if that name just slips out of your mouth, then too it can remove all your faults. We'll take rest here today from the reading and continue tomorrow with verse 7. So, Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.